He's at his desk.
All right, Janice Sawicki, speak so we can test your sound.
Okay, I'm speaking.
All right, you guys can all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Chief Montella,
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
Mr. Catania,
Yes.
Miss Leslie,
Yes.
Ms. Fuchs, Mrs. Fuchs,
Present.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wills,
Good evening, everybody.
Mr. Vasquez,
Hello.
Mrs. Heller,
Here.
Chief Curtin,
Yes, here.
Charles Leslie.
Present.
All right, this April 2020 Brookhaven Borough Council meeting may come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. You don't have to turn the camera on it, but Denise, that's good. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
Mr. Mayor, you have your moment of silence.
I unfortunately do not have any, and I hope there is none.
No, there were.
Okay. Let me do a quick piece, and then we will go into public discussion if we have any. My entire piece will be COVID related. None of my committees met this month. We had no committee meetings this month. We have 3 meetings to announce, all exec sessions. There's someone that's either feedbacking or eating potato chips or something that's killing us. All right, it's done. Don't make me mute you, Leslie. 3 meetings to announce. Council met executive session on March 19th, 7 o'clock to 7:30 p.m. for the purpose of extending the declaration of local disaster emergency. That meeting was held in the council room where social distancing guidelines were practiced. This was our last in-person meeting. Council met Charles, I'm muting. I think it's you.
No, it's whoever the yellow square pops on, and it's John Wilbert moving around.
All right, he's muted. Okay. You can't bring you anywhere, Wilbert. All right, I'm going to start over. We have 3 meetings to announce. Council met in executive session on March 19, 7 to 7:30 p.m. for the purpose of extending the declaration of local disaster emergency related to COVID-19. The meeting was held in the council room with social distancing guidelines practiced. This was our last in-person meeting. The second meeting, we met in executive session on March 23rd via teleconference, 7 o'clock to 7:30 p.m. Purpose was to waive the after-hours delivery restrictions for area supermarkets. Council also met in executive session on April 2nd, 7 to 8 p.m. The purpose was personnel matters. That's all the meetings we had. I'd like to get right into thanking our residents and our employees for accepting the measures that council put in place to do our part to help to control the spread of COVID-19. We are faced with a crisis that none of us has ever seen. We haven't experienced a pandemic of this size in over 100 years. And all things considered, Brookhaven is doing very well. Our residents are patiently adhering to the rules we put into place, so we appreciate that. We realize it is by no means easy, and we hope to return to normal as soon as possible. I want to go over a timeline of the measures that council put into place to help do our part to prevent the spread of COVID-19. That includes measures put into place by Chief Montel and Chief Curtin. They can go over that after I'm done or during their speaking points. Our first measure was on March 24th. These are in no particular order, by the way. On March 24th, we extended the borough tax discount to April 30th to accommodate anyone who normally pays in person and was unable to do so with the office closure. We closed our parks on March 31st. This includes Coburn Elementary's parking lot with permission from Superintendent Steinhoff. On March 23rd, we met in executive session via teleconference to waive the restriction on delivery hours for all Brookhaven supermarkets. This enables our markets to remain as fully stocked as possible and assist seniors that are taking advantage of seniors-only hours by allowing the markets to stock overnight and have fully stocked shelves for them when they start the hours that were set aside for them for shopping early in the morning. We declared the first state of emergency on March 13th and closed the municipal center to all sports and rental activities and all in-person services. There's someone that's making noise. It's got to be muted. Not to complain, but who is it? It's not you, Wilbert.
Nobody's lighting up yellow except for you, so I don't know who it is,
Okay, well, I'm getting feedback.
because I'm keeping an eye on it.
It might be that.
Janice's was lit up.
All right, Janice, you're on mute. All right, I'll continue. Back to the state of emergency. We declared a state of emergency on March 13th and closed the municipal center to all sports and rental activities and all in-person services. We sent Public Works and most of the office staff home on March 26th with full pay and benefits until April 3rd. A decision on staffing for the front office and Public Works will be discussed later this evening. Overall, I feel that Brookhaven Council was way ahead of the curve in Delaware County. We closed our municipal center to the gym before any municipality in Delco, and we took quick action in protecting our employees by sending them home with pay to buy time while evaluating our next steps. We are in constant communication with Chief Montella and Chief Curtin for updates and to make sure that they have everything they need to keep their respective departments safe while still providing great service. For now, we will continue to operate with a limited office staff. We have the treasurer working limited hours. We have Matt Koppel working limited hours to handle phone calls, emergency permits, and some other tasks. And we have Bob Grant handling his usual duties and inspections, emergency inspections, that is, for emergency permits, and emergency permits and other Board of Health matters. While we are reevaluating on a daily basis, the reality is that we are likely to be operating in this capacity until at least mid-May, if not early June, based off of all the data I've reviewed and the various models we've studied. Today's national data brought some cautious optimism, with New York and some other areas around the globe showing signs that the curve may be beginning to flatten, but we need to see this trend continue to be sure that we're at peak or close to peak. Before any decisions can be made, we have to be on the other end of the curve, keep in mind. It should be noted that Delaware County has not shown any signs of slowing lately. We're anywhere between 70 and 100 new cases a day, with the last data, I believe, being for Sunday, adding somewhere around 100 new cases, for a total of 822 cases in Delco, with 15 deaths. And as for Brookhaven, while we are surrounded by areas with double-digit cases, we have just one case that showed up 2 weeks ago. The individual's name and location is private, and we do not have a status update. Again, we thank the residents for doing their part in helping the COVID-19 fight. We thank our police, our fire, and our EMS for doing a great job while battling on the front lines, and all of the borough employees and residents for sticking it out while we fight for a return to normalcy, whenever that may be. Bear with me while I open up my agenda. Do we have anyone from public discussion? I'm going to unmute them all. Mr. Wilwert, you're unmuted. Mr. Wilwert,
Yes.
name and address, please.
John Wilworth, 30 Trimble Boulevard.
Go ahead, sir.
I wanted to personally thank you, the council, and mayor, for taking the fast act to shut down what you did. I also wanted to thank our first responders. They've been working on the last months, but being proactive as the council's been is a very good sign, and I really appreciate the council for doing that. But I also want to I've been on Zoom all day, so I know the etiquette with the school district. So I think it's a good idea. You know how to work it. So thank you.
Thank you, John. Anything else? Anything else, Mr. Wilwert?
No, thanks. I'm done.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for public discussion? Mr. Dykes, no? Thomas.
Hi
Dykes.
there. Want to also thank you all for what you've been doing. It's really great. being one of the people who is an essential personnel at my place of employment is interesting. Driving up and down and seeing the number of people that are just wandering around in the streets. We need to also somehow let you figure out what we're doing. Let people know that they shouldn't be just dropping their gloves and their masks at the supermarkets. I mean, it's more dangerous for the employees there than anything else. And so that's about it. So we just need to let people know that. That's everything.
Thank you, sir. And listen, keep in mind, it's okay to go out for a walk.
Oh, yeah.
But and if you're it's hard to determine whether you're a family walking or in a group or you're multiple families walking in a group. So you should keep your space no matter who you are. I still see groups of kids running around. We haven't allowed our children out. I know that, and I'm not going to tell anyone what to do, but abide by the social distancing guidelines, and we'll continue to do our part. Let's keep our number at 1 and hope that 1 is recovered. Keep it as low as possible. Thank you, Tom. Anything else? Anyone else? All right. Give me a moment. Pull up my agenda. My iPad keeps locking up on me. All right, we're going to go right to Chief Curtin.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, everybody. So for the month of March 2020, we have 12 persons arrested. 9 were adults, 3 were juveniles. We had 6 thefts total, which is a very good number. 2 were retail. There were 4 other thefts, 3 of which occurred in a couple block radius on one evening. They were all unlocked. None of them were forced entry. Please lock your car doors. We had 15 false alarms for the month, 541 business checks, 10 911 hang-up calls that we responded to. We issued 55 motor vehicle citations, 45 warnings, 26 parking tickets, 21 collisions were handled, and we had 16 motorist assists rendered. There was no training completed this month by my officers for obvious reasons, and there was no workplace safety meeting, obviously, on March 31st. Officers continue to patrol and supply high visibility in an attempt to decrease criminal incidents. Officer Kyler remains off on injury leave from a June 2019 incident. Many protective measures have been implemented in an attempt to decrease the susceptibility of infecting officers with the COVID-19 virus. This includes acquiring several types of cleaning materials, disinfectants, professional cleaning of the police department and all vehicles, etc. It's an ongoing process, as I'm sure it is for everybody. And the police department, all vehicles are operational at this time. And in the cost-saving measures, we were paying $177 a month in a contract that was commenced before my start to a certain business to maintain our radio communications, essentially a standby pay. That was ceased, and that savings will be over $2,000 a year. I didn't find it very fruitful nor fiscally responsible to continue. And that's my report.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me,
Yes,
Mr. Heller,
Yes, Miss Leslie.
can we mute everybody if only one person is talking? That's where all the noise and the feedback is coming from.
Yes, yeah, I was getting into
People
that.
moving around and stuff.
All right, yeah, I will do that.
Something keeps sounding like a pig squealing.
Yep, I got it. Give me one moment.
Okay.
All right, Chief Montella, let me unmute you first. All right, go ahead.
Good. All right, good evening, council. Mr. President, Brookhaven Fire Company's March 2020 report. We had 3 fire incidents in the borough, 18 non-fire, 18 calls for mutual aid, 5 drills for a total of 44 for the month. We've answered 154 fire calls so far for the year. We did have no loss on contents or structure in the borough for the month and no firefighter injuries. Our call volume, we had 44 calls, average of 16 firefighters per call. We were in service for 528 hours for the month, 2,164 for the year. We had 5 training sessions, average of 30 firefighters. We were in service for 177 hours of training for the month, 822 for the year. Responded to the following incidents in Brookhaven Borough. We had 1 building fire on Sir Galahad Drive. 3 accidents, 1 at Brookhaven and Bridgewater, 1 at 352 and Dutton Mill Road, and the 4500 block of Edgemont Avenue. We also had one accident with entrapment at 352 and Cambridge Road, and a gas leak at Traditions of Ridley Creek and building number 8. Assisted Rocky Run Fire Company on a building fire at Riddle Hospital. Assisted Garden City Fire Company on 2 building fires, one at Warminster Drive and the other one on Chestnut Parkway. Assisted Parkside Fire Company on a building fire on West Garrison Road. And we assisted the Chester Fire Department on 2 building fires, one at 11th Street and Curlin, and the 800 block of East 15th Street. For the training for the month, we spent training for about coronavirus procedures, protocols, decon operations, personal protective procedures for our members, social distancing procedures, and limiting the amount of personnel and staffing at the fire station 24/7. And it's been a constant ordering supply of materials for protection of our people and our residents. We're constantly looking for supplies, cleaning supplies, and PPE. And for our ambulance report, I did not get a full report from my ambulance officers just because we've been tied up with a lot of other things. But I can tell you that so far, the ambulance has responded to 12 suspected cases for the coronavirus. All, happily to say, have come back negative as of now. So that's a positive thing. So people basically have been sick, but haven't been tested positive for the COVID-19.
You're not aware of anyone in the borough that is pending a test or that you think might be a positive?
Currently, no, we are not.
All
So we don't know anybody as of right now. The 911 procedure, I believe, as people are being tested, if a positive case comes out, the best I can tell you is our 911 center does have to get reported that information from the Department of Health and CDC. And as we get paged, our notes in our CAD system will tell us that it's a suspected case, which will make us right away have all our best PPE possible to encounter that situation. So there are countermeasures as long as it's all being passed down the line properly. We should be notified, and all we ask is that residents are truthful. Should the ambulance or the police or the fire company show up at your house, just give us the honest answers. We have to ask them answers before we come in. If somebody else is sick in the house, we need to know that, because the patient might not have the problem, but somebody else in the house could. And that's just give us as much information as possible. The 911 center dispatchers are asking those key questions along when you do call 911. So as long as the information is getting relayed properly from the residents that we're trying to help or assist, everybody in the house is part of this, whether they're being transported or not. So people need to know that, the children, everybody. If somebody's not feeling sick, we need to know they're not feeling good, whether that's the patient we're tending to or not. So we take all the precautions.
Have you heard anything from our local hospitals? I know the hot spots around the country and the world are overwhelmed. Their ERs, their ICUs are overwhelmed.
The only thing that the
hospitals doing?
Just as of now, like Riddle and Crozier that we go to regularly, they may go on divert for a short period of time just because they get a little heavier flow, getting people put into beds and all. Then they come off a divert where they can handle more patients. But nothing's been totally shut down or anything like that yet.
But they've all taken out elective surgeries?
Yes.
Okay, so they've all done that. And okay.
No non-essential stuff.
I haven't heard any cries for help between them and the county and
right. I just think
the state yet.
We're kind of in the waiting mode, I think, for it to catch up a little bit to us yet. I don't think it's here yet. So
we may not. We're increasing, but we're not skyrocketing like the hot spots, which is incredible to me considering that Delco is pretty densely populated.
Right.
Maybe we're just adhering to the guidelines for the most part.
Yep.
Unless you go to Lowe's and Giant, then you think it's Black Friday shopping.
Yep.
So I don't know.
People are taking the precautions out there and washing their hands and covering their faces up and, have gloves on, that kind of thing. Make sure you constantly washing your hands every time you touch something. Don't touch your face.
And I apologize, Mr. Pappas. Somehow I forgot to call you or
I apologize for coming on late.
We love you just as much, George. It's good to have you.
Tom, good to see you.
And Chief, you're good with PPE. Did I already ask that?
Yeah, we're pretty good. We're looking good for the The upcoming road here, we're looking pretty good on PPE right now. We do put our requests in through our emergency management coordinator and through Denise and Steve Schultz. Any equipment we do need, we just give Steve the heads up and he'll put the request in through the proper paperwork that has to be turned in.
Great. We appreciate your work. We appreciate Chief Curtin's work and all your guys and gals that are working for us.
Thank you.
It's tough.
Yeah.
All set?
Yep, we're good. Thanks.
All right. Solicitor's report. I will unmute you, Mr. Wills.
Great.
And
Thank
I guess we want to do the respective motions, required motions when you're done.
Yes.
If you want to walk us through those.
Good evening, Mr. President, and thank you very much and good health to everyone. First item on my agenda concerns 123 East Brookhaven Road. As council is aware, Judge Eckel of the Delaware County Court of Common Pleas entered an order mandating that the property owner remove all trash, debris, and junk from the property. Property changed ownership in March, and the new property owner, who owns and operates a cleanout company, has abated the nuisance. I'm pleased to advise that the property is now code compliant per my conversation today with zoning officer Harold Hampton.
Great news.
Second item concerns 4209-4213 Edgemont Avenue, again, commonly referred to as Carmen's. Again, this is a blighted property. The conservator appointed by the court had filed a motion back on February 12th to order the sale of the property. A hearing on said motion occurred back on March the 2nd, for which I was in attendance to express the borough's support of the motion and to ensure that all costs and fees incurred by the borough throughout this process were considered when the court defines the terms and conditions of said sale. The court took the motion under advisement, and I was expecting a ruling to occur by now, but of course the courts are closed. In light of the underlying facts of this case, I fully expect that the court will in fact grant the motion so the property can be sold and obviously conveyed to a new property owner. Third item on my agenda concerns 3607 Victor Avenue. Again, this is a residential property where the owner has accumulated a large amount of trash, debris, primarily in the rear yard of this property. On February 10th, I had filed on behalf of the borough a complaint in equity and a petition for preliminary injunction against the property owner in the Delaware County Court of Common Pleas. The court had scheduled a hearing on the borough's motion for a preliminary injunction for next week, basically on the 14th. However, again, as we know, pursuant to an order of the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, all courts in the Commonwealth, with limited exceptions, are closed at least until April the 30th. That deadline will probably be extended. And so this case, unfortunately, will have to be postponed. Fourth item on my agenda concerns the resolution extending the deadline for property tax discount. At its emergency meeting held on March 19th, Borough Council had passed a motion extending the deadline to qualify for a discount for the payment of Borough 2020 property taxes until April the 30th. That motion should be ratified and memorialized through the passage of a written resolution, which is presently before Borough Council. Therefore, if it is the pleasure of Borough Council, a motion would be in order to adopt the resolution.
Do we have a motion?
I'll take the motion.
I'll second it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried.
All right. I'd ask that that motion be executed and forwarded to the Borough Treasurer. Fifth item on my agenda concerns emergency declarations. my office has drafted and prepared the following emergency declarations / resolutions pursuant to the COVID-19 pandemic. They include number one, the disaster emergency declaration proclaimed by Mayor Michael Hess, dated March 13th of 2020. Two, a resolution of the Brookhaven Borough Council declaring, joining, and extending the declaration of emergency disaster issued by Mayor Michael Hess pursuant to the provisions of the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Services Code and the Pennsylvania Borough Code, dated March 19th. Third, finally, a resolution of the Brookhaven Borough Council suspending certain prohibitions provided for in the Borough Code of Ordinances entitled Noise Control to ensure critical food delivery operations at the major chains and supermarkets located in the borough. Again, that resolution was dated March 3rd. Sixth item on my agenda concerns Governor Wolf's emergency declaration ordering the closure of all non-life-sustaining businesses. My office has provided guidance, counsel, and recommendations to Mayor Hess, Council President Heller, and Police Chief Curtin regarding the applicability of the closure order to multiple businesses throughout the borough. That has been an ongoing and continuous operation. Seventh item concerns 315 West Brookhaven Road. Again, this is a small residential single-family development of approximately 7 single-family homes. I've recently drafted and prepared a supplemental land development agreement between the borough and the contractor regarding the highway occupancy permit for the development sanitary sewer installation. And finally, 8 concerns furlough notification letters. I have drafted and prepared on behalf of Mayor Hess and Council President Heller 11 proposed furlough notification letters to certain designated borough employees as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Again, if it is the pleasure of Borough Council that those furlough notification letters issue, then a motion would be in order.
We can group all furloughs into one motion, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, word the motion for us, if you would.
Simply that a motion to approve the issuance of 11 furlough notification letters to designated borough employees as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And again, those 11 individuals were identified and designated in various emails to Borough Council earlier today and yesterday.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. And Jay, do you have more?
No, that is my report, and I'm assuming those furlough notifications can be issued via email, and that email should come from either you or the mayor.
Okay. And let me explain to the public that the furloughs are temporary. They are a certain percentage of the office staff. While we feel that all office staff are essential, we're furloughing to allow them to go onto unemployment until we have a fully functioning front office staff. And any part-time police officer that held another position outside of the borough. Hold on, I have to mute someone. I don't know if it's a dog or there's something barking. Give me a moment. Might be one of our guests. Okay, so it was any part-time officer that held another position And the idea is that if say ex-officer holds a position at, say, Walmart, where they come in contact with the public on a regular basis, we wanted to prevent them from potentially bringing COVID-19 back to our department. It's for their protection, it's for our employees' protection, and the same generally applies to the office staff. We generally can't have a full office staff and abide by social distancing guidelines. So the treasurer will be working on a limited basis. You cannot function without a treasurer. Matt Kopp will be working an office away on a limited basis to assist with certain items, and Bob Grant will be doing his work. Public Works will be returning to work. Hold on one second. There's one of the guests is making noise. I think I muted the right person now. Public Works will return to work next Monday to full duty. However, they will have strict social distancing guidelines. They are not to work within 20 feet of each other. They are not to interact with the public or anyone else, any other employee from any other department. But I think I pretty much covered it all. So hopefully those furloughed will be back to work as soon as possible. But the virus makes that call. We don't make that call. No one will be hurt due to the fact that the federal government passed the bill last week, the rescue package, 2 weeks ago, I should say, that added $600 to PA's max unemployment. So no one will lose pay out of this. It is effectively a paid vacation, and they will stay safe until we are ready to get back to business as usual. So I just wanted to add that. And that was it, Mr. Wells?
That is my report, sir.
Okay. I believe Mr. Mayor.
Denise had something to say, Terry.
Oh, let me unmute you, Mrs. Leslie. Ms. Leslie. Go ahead.
With Public Works, will they have to wear masks and gloves to work?
What I told Public Works, I left that to their discretion. So if they so choose, they do have N95 masks, they may do it. From what I understand, and I'm not a scientist, the N95 masks are more for the protection of the other individual and not yourself. It's more if you're infected to prevent you from spreading it. I believe if they're 20 feet or more apart, as they were asked to be, and they don't interact with the public, it's not needed. If they come across such a situation, they are being asked to use the N95 mask.
Will they be utilizing separate vehicles?
They are using separate vehicles as well.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all
Actually-
assigned their own vehicle.
Correct, and we're also waiving the clock-in procedure, so they don't have to touch anything. Everything from the coffee pot time clock, they are not to share. And we are also going to stagger their start times by probably 15 minutes apart. Anything that we can do to protect them. We can't go without sewer calls, grass becomes a health issue pretty quick. It's already growing, in case you haven't noticed. We've had a warm winter and a warm spring, so there's already almost a need for cutting. And and we'll evaluate that on a daily basis, but they're okay with it.
Okay, thank you. Just looking out for their safety.
Sure. Mayor's report, Mr. Mayor?
Mr. President, it looks like most of my report, if not all of it's going to be a little redundant.
That's
First
okay.
of all, First of all, I'd like to lead off by thanking our police department or our fire department and all the first responders for an outstanding job they're doing to protect our community during this virus. You know, these are brave men and women who are on the front lines every day, and we know that every single day, not only because of this virus, but they're giving up themselves to help others. I don't feel they get the credit they deserve, and we should applaud them, that's for sure. So I'm going to tell the residents out there, should you be out on the street and you see a member of the fire department or a police officer, please stand your 6-foot distance, give them a thumbs up and say thank you. Now, again, this is all going to be redundant, but I want to make sure the residents understand where the council and where they're coming from. We're in a crisis here, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I know you all heard this probably and tired of hearing of it. But we need to adhere to the governor's mandate to stay home during this crisis. Only go out if it's absolutely, again, absolutely necessary
for food or medicine? And if you do, wear a mask and gloves if you have them. Now, with that being said, with the gloves, and I think Tom brought it up earlier, we ask you to please dispose those gloves in trash cans and not throw them in the streets and the parking lots. I can't tell you how many gloves I found over the last several days. So let's work together as a team, and we'll get through this whole thing. You brought up about the furloughs. That was going to be part of my report also, but I just want to echo the thing also, excuse me, about the reasoning behind the furloughs itself. Again, it's to protect our staff, protect our people, and that's one of the reasons for it. And as far as some of the police officers, they all have full-time jobs, so I don't think they're going to be hurt that badly itself. But we can't wait to have them back. On another subject I wanted to bring up, everyone should have received their 2020 census letters in the mail a few weeks ago with instructions how to fill out the questionnaire online. I just want to let everybody know it's important that each household complete these censuses. There's only a few easy questions and only takes about 5 minutes to complete. And just to give you a little bit of background why you need to fill this out. The census provides critical data that lawmakers and business owners and teachers and many others that use this to provide daily services and products, and also more importantly to us, to help support our community and federal funding. The results of the census also determines how many seats we're going to have in Congress in every state. So by law, just to let everybody know, if they think somebody's going to steal their Social Security number or something like that, by law, the Census Bureau are kept completely confidential under penalty of imprisonment and a $250,000 fine. So we ask you, if you have not already done so, please go there and fill out your 2020 census. And again, a lot of the information was talked about earlier by everyone. I just want to let everybody know, and Janice, you probably know this already, but on April 4th, Brookhaven celebrated its 75th anniversary, incorporated as a borough. And that's all I have, Mr. President.
And at this rate, I should say, we were working on a 75th anniversary celebration. There is no reason we can't push that to next year.
Absolutely.
Even if the virus goes away almost completely in the summer months, science tends to think, now this is barring a breakthrough treatment, we're not going to get a vaccine for a year and a half, but barring a breakthrough treatment, we have to question every single large gathering for the rest of the year, even if we get the all clear to operate business as usual. Keep that in mind. It could rebound and come back in September or October. So we're going to evaluate on a daily, weekly basis and make those decisions. But it's a shame it happens to fall on an anniversary year. But again, we can always punt that to next year and have celebration. Is great. So.
I want to just add one more comment also. I've gotten a couple phone calls from people, why are certain businesses open and how come people are standing side by side? Chief Curtin can attest to this also. We talked about this earlier today. Our police officers, they know if they see a crowd of people, especially in one particular location, which I'm not going to mention, they have to be 6 foot apart from each other. And our police officers are going to stop them. And if they continue to do it, I hate to say it, we're going to cite them. We cannot have this in Brookhaven. And you mentioned earlier today, we've been very fortunate. We've only had one case tested as positive. And let's keep it that way. That's all I have.
And we also have no control over what type of business is open. That's up to the governor.
That's up to the governor.
I'll come right out and say I was questioned as to why the car wash was open. Well, that the governor makes that decision. Or why a water ice place is open. The governor makes that decision. We don't make that decision. We can enforce. We do not make the rules there.
You're absolutely right. I don't think people understand that.
No, but for the most part, people are doing a great job in Brookhaven. We're not messing around, I don't think. I know most of the businesses have the yellow lines, keeping people 6 feet apart in line. So I'm pretty happy with the effort.
Yeah, let me just give you a little tidbit. When I was out walking the neighborhood today, I saw 2 young ladies, probably 12, 13 years old. They were sitting on the curb across the street from each other, and were having a conversation. And I walked down the middle of the street, and I said, you young ladies are by the law, aren't you? And they said to me, yes, we are. Our parents told us to. I hope all parents tell their kids that.
Ours are on lockdown, so I know that.
So is Sherry, isn't it?
She should be.
That's all I have.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Council reports, Ms. Sawicki. Let me unmute you. I'm sorry. Hold on a minute.
Thank you.
There you go.
So I do want to talk about the April bills, which council has a copy of. The general fund for this month, $51,516.43. Trash fund, $60. Sewer fund, $20,275.18 for a total of $71,851.61. And I do want to make a motion that we pay the bills so that Delilah can mail the checks this week.
We have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next thing I wanted to mention again is that the tax bills, for those who have not paid them, they have until April 30th of this year to mail their payment to Mr. Smith in a and include a self-addressed stamped envelope so he can return the receipt to you. And you have till April 30th to get your discount. I also wanted to report to council that I have started to review the 2020 income and expense information, and I will be meeting with Delilah probably this week or next week to prepare a report for council telling you what we may have to delete from the 2020 budget because the revenue for this year is going to be deplorable because of the businesses being closed. And I just wanted council to be aware of what our suggestions will be, because she and I will go through all the exact numbers, give you a report, and then council can discuss it together and decide which ones you want to keep or postpone till next year, because we may have to do some postponing till next year.
I reached out to the budget committee also to suggest a meeting. The three of you get together to look at the.
Once I get the data from her, because she's going to make the reports from the computer, and once I get that, we'll be able to have that other meeting.
And it'll give us an idea. It'll give us an idea of the hit we're going to take from Mercantile.
I hope. Well, most of the businesses are closed.
And if not, we can go off of averages times, X amount of months that we're down. We can get a ballpark figure if we don't get exact figures. So it wouldn't take too long to do that. I wouldn't.
Yeah, well, I'm going to call him anyway next week and find out what's going on with that.
Okay.
E-collect. And I believe that's really all I have right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
And let me jump in. I need a couple of motions to approve meeting minutes. Sorry, I missed it on my agenda.
Well, I have a question about that because Delilah asked me, and she and I do not have January, February, or March minutes.
Okay, let's pause. Let's pause then. All right, we'll forget.
Yeah, I don't have either.
And she needs them for the audit when the auditors come next month.
All right, we'll pass that to
Where they
next
are.
meeting. I'll get a hold of Mrs. McKinley.
Okay, I appreciate that because she asked me last week about them, and I didn't have a copy either.
Okay, my motion was for the February minutes. I assume that they were
So
presented.
we don't. She doesn't have them. I don't have them. We don't know where they are.
All right, I'll ask Mary, and since Mary's out, maybe we'll work on something as long as we
Okay,
can.
thank you.
Thanks, Janice. Ms. Leslie? Oh, hold on.
At the workshop,
You're unmuted, Miss Leslie. Go ahead. Sorry.
I did look back at the workshop and the council meeting to see if those were approved at all, and they weren't. That's why I put them back on there.
Okay. Oh, and you're up now also.
Yes.
And hey, going forward, if anyone needs to speak, just give me a wave. Right?
I've waved my hand several times.
I'm ignoring you, like Mrs. Heller.
Okay, for my council report, as we know, the recycling event was canceled for last month. We're not going to reschedule it. We're only going to do the October one. Our Memorial Day service is supposed to be Saturday, May 23rd, depending on what goes on with the COVID stuff. Police department, just keep up your good work that you guys are doing. Same thing with the fire department. You guys are doing a great job with all the COVID stuff. Rob, I did want to pass on my condolences to the Markel Lee's family for the passing of his mother. And I also wanted to know, how's your staff holding up, the EMS?
We're doing good. We're doing good. You know, we're taking all the precautions. I know some people are a little nervous, but you know, that's our job.
Yeah,
There, we got to do it every day. I mean, you know, some people, you know, that family members are a little nervous sometimes going back home, but we get through it. We're doing our job.
okay, well, we're all here if anybody needs anybody
Everybody's
to
healthy.
talk to.
Everybody's healthy right now. We're just trying to keep everybody healthy.
Emotionally too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's the hard part.
Okay, next thing I have is, let me click my screen here. I have Steve Schultz's emergency management report for tonight. He's working and couldn't make it. He says costs are being recorded to be turned in for the reimbursement at the end of COVID-19. I know he's working with the fire department and the police department for everything. They're reporting that they are properly supplied. Their PPE supplies are being closely monitored and replenished. A question came up, he said, about hazardous pay. There is no viable reimbursement plan at this point, but he's staying on top of it to see if a viable program becomes available if we're giving hazardous pay to anybody. And he also says, please refer to the county sit rep for the updated COVID-19 cases, you know, to see how many's in the county or the state and that's all he has for his report. And for me, just stay safe and be well. That's the end of my report.
I guess I'm up.
I muted myself because the dog barked. It's not you, Mrs. Heller, it's Mr. Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. President, but unfortunately, I won't have a report. None of my committees have actually met.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Mrs. Heller?
Okay, so I only have two things. The concert series did meet on 3/10. We don't know really what the outcome is going to be of that at this point, but we did meet on March 10th. The other thing that I have is Roseanne McGrath was retained to complete an office assessment that was completed on the 3rd of March and the 10th of March with the staff being interviewed, and was very happy to have her there for the assessment. We did receive a report, and we're in the process of reviewing it right now, so stay tuned. That's it. End of my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Heller. Mrs. Fuchs.
Thank you, Mr. President. As previously announced, the Ordinance Committee did not meet in March, nor will we meet in April. Business news, I just want to again, please remind residents to utilize Brookhaven restaurants for takeout. If they can use that as their first choice and then go to other towns for their second and third choices, that would be ideal. The tech committee, we will have a meeting with E-Code once it's safe to do so, hopefully late spring or early summer. As everyone, for rec board news, as everyone is aware, unfortunately we had to cancel the Easter egg hunt. And also we'll talk with baseball and softball for a rescheduled date for their opening day parade, which is currently scheduled for April 18th. I just want to remind everyone to please check our website, social media pages, and the marquee for updated information. And lastly, I spoke with Providence Animal Center. As of right now, they're unsure if our chip vaccination clinic will be rescheduled, which is currently scheduled for May 19th. My guess is it probably will be rescheduled. And once I get a new date, I'll be sure to put that out on the website, social media pages, and the marquee. And that's all my report. Thank you.
Mr. Vasquez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to kind of follow up with what you said. We're going to be bringing Public Works back to take care of the sanitary issues, the 811 calls on an emergency basis. as well as taking care of cutting the grass. Again, just to reiterate what you were saying, that will be they'll be coming back full time as of next week. And I also wanted to get council's opinion on this. I think we should remove the possibility of having the public works go into other people's houses for clogs and other things that we normally do as a courtesy. I brought this up with Dave Evans before, but I wanted to get everybody else's opinion as well.
When I spoke to him today, let me unmute council. Mrs. Heller, I can't unmute you for some reason. I'm not kidding you either. I really can't unmute you.
I'm unmuted.
Oh, it didn't say that you were. I agree with Hector. I don't believe that they should make any contact with anyone. Like I said, we're going to make it a 20-foot rule. We're taking a 6-foot rule, making it a 20-foot rule, at least. So that's my opinion. Everyone else, what do you got?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Very well. I'll reach out to Dave and just let him know that we are going forward with that.
Yep, pass it along.
The next thing I also wanted to say is that we are going to try and get that scoreboard squared away before the softball, baseball season starts, while we have some time, depending on how busy we are with the Public Works Department.
At this rate, I've talked to baseball frequently. I haven't had a follow-up conversation with softball. I don't really see a grand possibility of a season unless they want to start in the summer. We have to be in the clear for X amount of time before we just throw people together in large groups. That being said, the scoreboard should proceed as planned.
Yes, it's just to get that done, and that way that's done and over with and prepared for whenever play will resume.
And at this rate, Family Day could possibly be in jeopardy for the reasons I said earlier. If the virus goes away on us, science thinks that it's going to come back, and barring a breakthrough in treatment, it could rebound in September and October. So we'll evaluate everything on a weekly basis, daily basis, actually. So. But.
All right, so that's all I have for Public Works. Zoning did not meet at all. And Janice also touched with this. We're going to be looking at some of the high ticket items that we were looking in our budget. We're probably either going to be postponed or pushed back. You know, we got to look at the numbers, try and get an idea of what's going to happen. And, you know, we'll have a meeting and move forward with that, because we got to look out what the best interests of the borough and the borough residents. We don't want to, you know, get caught with our pants down by purchasing big ticket items that we don't need yet. So just wanted to let the public know that that's going to be a big possibility that it will be happening as soon as we get some numbers together and meet. And again, I also wanted to thank everybody on the front line, both chiefs. Thank you for everything you guys are doing. Stay safe. And that's the end of my reports.
Thanks, Mr. Vasquez. Engineers report, Charles?
Thank you. It's submitted a written report. There's only a couple of things that I'd ask the council to consider. The first one is this Brookhaven Glen development. We reviewed the escrow, and that recommend approval in the amount of $1,878,122.41 plus $56,500 for inspection fees.
Was that your motion?
That is my request.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Janice, did you have some input?
I have a question. You can't hear me.
I
need
just
to know whether this is
unmuted you,
cash.
Janice.
I don't know what kind of escrow this is. It's not cash, I'm assuming, but what is it? I haven't seen anything on this document. We usually, Doyle and I usually get this information to review with the escrow.
Charles,
Is it
you
going
emailed
to be?
You emailed it to us, correct?
This is establishing the escrow amount. The actual form of escrow will be handled by Mr. Wills. and that would then go to Delilah for.
It's going to be cash, or is it going to be a
I do not
bank?
believe it's going to be cash, but that is for Mr. Wills to.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I'll just contact him. That's fine. Thank you. That's what I needed to know.
Yeah, Janice, it normally would be either cash or a line of credit, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
At an established banking institution,
I wasn't sure which one.
yes.
That's fine. We'll be in contact with you. I can't hear you.
Okay, there's two other items that I'd like to consider. These are both repair the street laterals of sinkholes that have been reported to the borough previously. The one is at 3425 Janney Avenue, and the second one is at 263 Morris Avenue. Both of these locations have been tested by the Public Works Department and determined that the issue is the street lateral. So it asks authorization to repair those two locations.
Dennis, did you freeze up or are you going through? Oh, okay, there you go.
I can't really, I don't know if you hear me.
We can
We
hear
hear
you.
We can hear
All
you.
right, I wasn't sure because I can't really tell.
Were
The
you trying to
print
make
on
a
this
point?
thing is so small. No, I was just going to make a motion, but it's fine. I was going to approve what he just said, but I wasn't to make the motion.
Correct.
I'll second.
Anyone else? I spoke with Charles about it, or I believe it was email. No, you actually spoke to me about it today. We have the motion. We have the second. Anyone have questions?
No.
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No one opposed? Motion carries.
And the other items on my report, I'll defer till so we get back to some semblance of normal.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Leslie. Mr. Leslie.
I got you, Mr. President, there. Just a couple of things on the list here. Mr. Hampton's, he's dealing with the OLC issue that we had over there. Had some problems with Texas Eastern. Mike Walsh has been calling me about the Miller pipeline in Pico. There's no communication with the residents. Residents are also calling me about it. We're trying to get that worked out. That work has since ceased since this whole coronavirus. So when that gets back up, we're going to set a meeting up to get some more communication to our borough residents. Also, Mike called about a fence that went up on top of his pipe over on Nathan. He got called out there. They ended up shutting it down. Rich, the borough worker, was over there installing a fence with his buddy or something, and it was right on top of the pipeline. He went out and marked it. When they put a fence up here in the borough, are they supposed to get their property surveyed prior to the fence going up? Do we know that, Mr. Heller?
Charles?
I think that's a really good, I think it's a recommendation, but I don't think it's required.
I think generally they go over, for replacement, they go over the same line. I'm not aware of anyone getting their property surveyed for fencing, but we can look into it.
Yeah, we better look into that because, like I said, Mike Walsh called me. I met him out there on Nathan. We had an issue over there.
Sure, we've had a couple. I know we've had a couple of battles where they surveyed after the project has started. That comes to mind, but.
All right, I don't know if it comes under.
What the official procedure is, I'm not sure. We'll find out though.
Okay, I don't know if it's zoning or what, but anyway, the Swiss Farms, Financial One State Farm property was sold over there. The inspectors were over there, inspected that. The Dollar Magic is open. Lowe's was inspected. I met with the new manager up there, Todd, and communicated with Mrs. Heller about it. That's all good. How close are, I know with this whole pandemic thing going on, how close are we getting somebody on the Board of Health? Do we have an inspector coming up soon, or somebody applying for the position? Are you going to award the position?
Which position are you talking about?
A Board of Health inspector.
Yeah,
the reason I'm saying that the shopping centers are getting out of hand.
Are you talking about the commercial food grade inspector position?
Whatever the Board of Health handled.
Well, Bob is the actual Board of Health inspector. Sharon McCray. Oops, sorry, I dropped my iPad. Sharon McCray was hired as the commercial food grade inspector, I believe, in February, if my memory serves me right. She has not yet been certified. She was scheduled to be certified, but the pandemic shut down, or postponed, I should say, her.
Okay.
her training. But we do have the person in that position.
Okay,
She's not fully certified yet.
gotcha.
And I do not have an answer as to when that will happen in speaking with Bob Grant, but I'll get back to you. But anything Board of Health related, Bob Grant can handle.
Gotcha. I don't know if you guys know, but the Cambridge Square, they put a fence up along the back of their property. That should alleviate some of the trash coming down onto the walking trail. Put a real nice fence up over there. What else do I got here? Just throwing this out there. Might have to reach out to Mr. Wells. K-18 back in October 22 of 18. That's going to a lawsuit now. We had that tragic fire over there with a significant fire loss back then. An attorney from Allentown has reached out to me, Thomas and Hafer. They wanted all the reports. I might have to reach out to our attorney and just get some advice prior to going up on that stand. That'll be the end of my report. Thank you, Mr. Howell. Oh, one other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's out. We're doing a good job out there. They're having the little fire pits going in their backyards. My whole neighborhood's lit up every day, every night. The burning. Keep it to a minimum. Keep a screen on top. We don't want to destroy their own houses, their own property. So that's it. Want a screen on top of those burning pits. Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. Mrs. McCrae's not here. Harold's not here, so we'll all get to bed on time. Chief Montel, you have anything else? All right, I had you muted.
The only thing else I had on there, Mr. President, is daily, Chief Curtin and myself do meet every morning, go over everything that comes out from the county, CDC, just so we're up on top of everything every morning as them reports are coming in. So we're staying on top of supplies, what we need, and we go after it if we need to. But every day we meet and make sure we're on top of everything.
We should also thank Chester County for basically acting as our temporary health department.
Yep.
Delaware County's never had a health department, or they might have done away with it. I don't think they've ever had one, correct?
Yep.
They, when the new council came in, I know they did start in motion the process of forming a health department, but from what I understand, it takes 12 to 18 months. I mean, timing is everything. But they've been a big help. They're giving us all our data. They have a great link where you can follow the cases around Delco and Chesco.
Yep.
And I know I obsessively refresh it every 12 minutes while I'm working because, but it's a great site. It's a great link. I'm going to reshare that link when I upload the meeting. But thanks to the Chesco Board of Health, it's fantastic. Hopefully, we'll get ours going not before long. So.
Yep.
Anyone else want to chime in?
I just wanted to quickly thank our fire, police, and EMTs for, risking their lives in terms of putting themselves in the way of this virus on behalf of the residents. So on behalf of myself and my family, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Fuchs. Mr. Wilward, I saw you raise your hand.
Are you in public discussion again, or are you done your reporting?
We're going right into public discussion, so.
Okay, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, I wanted to give you an update on the Town Watch operation that's going on. We have temporarily suspended our operation.
Sure.
Due to the current situation, and that the Town Watch membership did vote to donate $500 to the fire company for funds for whatever they need. So we did do that. So that's an update on Town Watch.
Great.
That's it.
Anyone else for public discussion? Mr. Dykes? You have to unmute yourself. Hold on.
There we go.
Hi, Mr. Dykes.
Just an update with Sherry on the concert series. Most likely right now, the May concert will probably be canceled because that's a school program and it depends on the school district. We were going to have the Northley Middle School jazz band and their steel drum band, but I'm assuming school probably will not be going on, so we'll probably have that canceled. We're hoping we'll see what's going on with the rest of the concert series, depending upon what the pandemic does. So. Sorry for that. We were all looking forward for it, but better to be safe.
The virus calls all the shots right now, Thomas,
That's right.
unfortunately. Hopefully we'll kick its ass, by the end of May, and you can carry on after that one. Anyone else from public discussion? I assume they can hear us. Let me unmute them. Hold on 1 second. I just realized I had them unmuted. Mr. Essif, Miss Rifford, Vinny Smokestacks, Josephine's iPad, or Carol Sway, do you have anything for public discussion?
No, thank you.
I guess that's a no. All right, once again, thanks, everyone. Again, we're looking to get back to normal as soon as possible, but the trend of the virus and the spread of the virus.
Denise has something. Denise is trying to wave you down.
Okay, calls those shots. So hopefully not before long, we will be back in business. Denise?
Mr. Heller,
Yes.
did you want to bring up B&L?
B&L reached out to us today, and they asked for an additional 5% monthly payment on top of their contract. This is something for council to decide upon. My take is everyone's hurting right now. We didn't schedule a 100 years pandemic. The borough's hurting. We have furloughed police, part-time police, for the first time in our history. We furloughed employees for the first time, I believe, in our history. I don't think we've ever had a layoff. We're hurting. We're going to lose Mercantile. We have who knows how many residents on unemployment that are worried about their jobs and their mortgages and their bills and their health insurance. So I am opposed to paying this additional 5% fee. We do have a contract. They are not the only one.
Did they say why?
They said due to, I believe it's the additional volume of trash pickup in Brookhaven and other areas, recycling and trash pickup, additional salaries due to the pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. But we're in the same exact boat that they are. So are our residents. So are our businesses. So are all the other vendors that we work with. B&L does a great job, in my opinion, but I am opposed to that because of the reasons I just mentioned. Anyone else?
I did attach.
Janice, hold on. I'm sorry, Janice, I had you muted. I didn't realize.
I know. I think you need to refer B&L to Mr. Wills, since we do have a legal contract.
Well, I don't think you're not muted, Miss Leslie, but hold on. Janice, I don't think we have to refer them to Jay, to Mr.
No,
Wills.
we have to talk to Jay to see what our position
Well,
is
we
and
are-
how firm it is.
Well, Mr.
I
Wills
think
could
it's
probably
good. I
cover.
just want you to make sure he knows.
All right, Jay, well, he's listening. He's right here. Jay,
Terry?
Jay, I'm going to assume you're going to
I
say
don't know who you.
we are under no obligation to
I didn't know.
pay them additional.
I didn't say you did, but I just always talk to the lawyer to make sure we're on sound legal ground. That's a prudent thing to do.
Jay, give me a quick answer.
Yes. Yeah, there is no provision in the contract that would permit B&L to surcharge the borough an additional 5% because of this pandemic. And I agree with what you said already, is that the borough is going to be fiscally compromised as a result of this pandemic. And I suspect we are not in a financial position to pay more than we're already contractually obligated to pay.
Sure, we're not subsidizing anyone on the backs of our taxpayers who may be hurting. We don't know where unemployment's going. We don't know where the economy is going. We don't know how long the pandemic will last. I sympathize with B&L. They do a great job, but we're all in the same boat. No one's rescuing us after all. So what does Evan want, Mrs. Fuchs? His allowance? Hi, Evan. Did you give him his allowance? Should take his keys. I saw him driving the other day. You don't want him on the street. All right, anyone else? Hold on, I think I have a chat here. Hang on a second.
Terry, I did put that letter in with our meeting.
Someone's being smart in the chat. I won't read that one. Say that again.
I did put that B&L letter in with our meeting minutes for council to see.
Okay. And I believe we have it in our email, correct?
I don't know who it all went to for the emails. That's why I put it on. I think it only went to me, you, and Janice.
Okay, all right, I'll distribute it out to the rest of council.
Well, council has it. It's in our meeting minutes.
Oh, okay.
The agenda.
I heard you wrong, I'm sorry.
It's the last page on the agenda.
Okay, great. Anyone else?
Let me see it now.
All right, hang in there, folks.
We will.
We'll get through it as soon as possible. Thanks for that show of support, Janice. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
See you next time. Oh, one quick thing. We will have a workshop, and we will do it via Zoom. I think it's important we continue communicating with the public, required or not.
Okay.
So
Sounds good.
I hear you.
Gotta be
get
safe.
that out.
Just tell me when.
Stay safe, all. Thanks.
Amen.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
I did not get that in my paper.